And I'm aware of the fact that you're referring to the biocontrol study, right? So that came out a couple of years ago. Yeah, that it was. But they're still trying because Cyberonics also had, Cyberonics is very active in neuromodulation for epilepsy, and they're also developing in heart failure. So they will keep trying, but probably it's a long shot, as you say, probably.
Yeah, probably it's a long shot. Also, just for you to be aware, the devices apply to different phases of the disease. So neuromodulation will be when the patient is stable. So let's say now we prescribe our patients, ACE inhibitors with a blocker. Maybe, in some time it will be Entresto and paragliflozin.
Yeah.
And then, in this stable phase is where this neuromodulation will be applied. However, the devices that we are discussing, Impella, HeartMate, those are specific devices for the acute phase, for cardiogenic shock.
No. Okay. Interesting. Perhaps if you have 10 spare minutes, I want to discuss some mitral valve. Of course, as you imagine, we've been following the mitral space after also before the acquisition of Caisson, because Caisson has always been in the pipeline of Sorin for the last 5 years. So I've been at several. Also, been in London at the big congress. I don't remember the name last year.
That will be EuroPCR, I imagine.
Yeah, the EuroPCR, exactly. Yeah. They keep sending emails. So, as a non-specialist, but it was interesting to see the presentations of the various devices. So, what is your view on the landscape at the moment? Of course, there are some. Abbott is a very good repair device, but the others are trying to develop kind of replacements, which is of course quite difficult. Do you have a view on the various devices that are under development at the moment? Which one looks more promising or less?
Oh, yeah. So, I would say that now, if we are talking about invasive cardiology, most of the changes, more of the advances are happening now in structural heart disease. So obviously, in the 80s, many advances happened in coronary interventions until 2005, more or less. So in the 80s was balloon development, coronary balloons. In the 90s was coronary stents. In 2000s was drug-eluting stents. And then, since 2000, I would say, since we have the second generation devices, second generation coronary stents, that's when, like, the only one, when we have, second generation, that will be Science from Abbott. That's, the only one, let's say, the major advance. Since then, that was like around 2008, nothing has really happened.
Yep.
So, the coronary, minor incremental advances, but that's it. In peripheral artery disease, we have, some advances around 2012 with the drug-coated balloons. Okay, fair enough. But, now, right now, in the 2010s, all the advances are in structural heart disease. So initially we have TAVR. TAVR was, incredibly successful, for aortic valve. So now, again, we have like minor advances. Maybe, like Boston, they are coming with one valve, with Lotus or with Lotus Edge. So obviously, sure, like Medtronic and Sapiens, they are developing the fourth generation valves, but, minor advances. So now there's a lot of interest in the mitral field. This is where it's really a lot of money has been invested. So in the last TCT, it was mentioned that more than $1 billion have been invested in the mitral field. And on top of my head, there are like 12 different devices specifically developed for mitral field, which means two things: one, that there's a lot of interest, and two, that no device is clearly superior to the rest one, to the remaining devices. That's one very important thing. So now, of all the devices that we have, and also I want to say something. So sure, there's a lot of interest, but we are still years away of having a reliable valve. Now, probably the valves with the most experience, they are 12. Well, now it's called Intrepid.
Yep.
Or Tendyne. So I think that Tendyne, that's probably the valve with more, with more implantations in all the world. They have around 100, 120 patients in all the world. So just for you to understand. And Tendyne, and Intrepid, former 2012, they said something